Hi, welcome to Undead Yarn. My name is Heidi. This is episode 68, and you can find me as Nitty Girl on Ravelry, and you can find me as Undead Heidi on Instagram and Twitter. How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a good week. Well, it's just starting, really. Today I have some tea that I bought from Plum Deluxe. This is, I believe, the Oregon breakfast tea. So I'm going to take my first sip. I haven't tried this one yet. Ooh, I love the smell of this. It smells lovely. I think it needs to steep a little bit more. I can't really taste anything, but I do have a lot of congestion. I don't know why. I thought that I would be in the clear since cedar's gone, but no. Anyway, why don't I go ahead and get started? I have a couple of works in progress. One work in progress is a sock that I was going to use this as a show sample, but it's got a lot of mistakes on it, so I may not. I put in the Afterthought heel. This is my Hexen Beast colorway, self-striping, and I'm actually using zeros because I'm out of ones. I have way too many socks on the needles that are partially done. And I do have a lot of ones because I knit a lot of socks, so that's kind of saying I have too many things on the needles. Here's what it looks like caked up. And this is in the Vom Fairy base. So that's one thing I've been working on. Another thing I was working on, I don't even remember if I mentioned this last time. This is a show sample. And this is a sock that I knit. This is also Undead yarn. This is Snap Crackle Oh Crap Pop. And this is a shop sample. And this one I knit on my sport base, which is Witch. And I really like it. It's nice and squishy. And it also goes very fast, so I might do some more show samples with this because it's a lot faster than the fingering weight. Those are the only two things that I had. Oh no, I do have one more thing. I'm also working on the Raindrop Shawl by Christina Wall. And this is for the Knit Along with Wool Diaries, Sally Wool Diaries. Hi Sally. That I met her at the Hill Country Weavers Retreat. She came all the way from South Africa, believe it or not. And I'm using my Bink Waffle bag that I got at the Hill Country Weavers Retreat. And I'm using some of my yarn. This is in the Mogwai base. It's the Alpaca Silk and Cashmere. And I've just gotten through row number 1. That's kind of blowing the color out. It's a really soft browny pink color. And it's called Rigor Mortis. That's better. It's really pretty. It's more brown than pink. Here it looks kind of pink, but it's more brown than pink. So I got through page 1 of the Raindrops shawl. That's as far as I got so far. And I do have one finished object. I finished my Drea shawl, which I looked it up. Drea shawl is by Craig Rosenfeld. And he has several patterns up on Ravelry. And I am so happy with this. The colors are so me. They're totally my colors. I used a skein of 2F by hand. In Mother Had Me Tested. And this is their MCN base. And I think I have enough left to knit a pair of socks. I'll have to weigh it and see how much I actually have left. This says 400 yards. So it's going to be, it's probably under 300 yards that I have left. So I don't know, we'll see. I could probably knit some short socks with those. And then I am so in love with this colorway. This is all I have left of the Lost City Knits Rumpelstiltskin. And this is just a merino, fingering merino. And I'm in love with this color. This color is fabulous. That is that is the color that I love it. And here's the finished object. I'm very happy with it. I think it looks gorgeous. The colors look pretty good there. I'll pull it closer so you can see. Yes. They just look stunning together. And I love this gold. That is my colors. And I put it on earlier. It's fabulous. I love this shawl. I love the way it came out. The pattern is very easy. But if you pick two colors that go well together, look, I mean, it's stunning. If you want to see a better picture, I put one up on Instagram. But I'm so happy with this. I totally would knit another one. It took me a month because it's, it starts on one end. I believe I started over here. And here's where it ended. The cool thing is, though, it ends up being not really asymmetrical. It's pretty symmetrical. I just love it. I would definitely knit this again. And I think this perfect time to knit it was now, the end of the school year, when everything's getting crazy and there's lots to do. So it was wonderful mindless knitting. I love this. I love the pattern. I love the two yarns I used. It just came out great. And I had that in my Diana Couture bag. She's from San Antonio. And it's the one that I really like because it looks like a purse when you snap it closed. I've showed you guys this before. It's really cute. So that is finished. So I had one finished object. Yay! No spinning. The only spinning I did was I was practicing my I was practicing my woolen spinning, getting it more even. So that's all I've really done. I haven't done anything else with spinning. So week in review. I've had a lot of fun the last couple of weeks. A couple of weeks ago I went to knitting group and it was really nice because I got to catch up with my friend Elizabeth Green, who I had seen her, but I hadn't really had time to catch up with her that much. So we had time to catch up, and that was nice. And then I also saw Leilani, who is from Heavenly Fibers. I hadn't seen her in ages, and I got to spend some time with her. And then some of my newer friends, Susanna and Kim and Elise. I always want to mix up those two. Elise was there. And then I met some new people that had also been at the Hill Country Weavers Retreat that came along with Janita and Dina. So we had a really nice time. After we hung out and knit for a couple hours in the coffee shop, and then after that we went over to the Lucky U, which is nearby. It's in they call it, I think is it Green or New Braunfels? I know it's kind of in between those two. I think it's close to Green, and I think it's New Braunfels. But I did buy one thing, and you'll know why when you see it. Look at that. And the funny thing is, the colors are not coming out right. I guess it's kind of blown out today. Because in the center, this you can see a little bit better. It's a really bright red. It looks pink here, but it is like a dark purple to a neon pink to a purple, and then to a gray, and then to almost neon pink, not quite, and then it looks like there might even be a little layer of brown in there and gray. But these are my fun 80s colors. Like I have on my shirt today that reminds me of the 80s. And this is Vice Yarns, and I love the name of that's another thing that caught me. It's called Radar Love. So if you guys know that song, I thought that was awesome. I love the colors and I love the song. And I would really like to cast this on right now, but I need to start doing stuff for the show, for my shows that are coming up at the end of the summer. And I also need to start doing some more knitting for the Spotlight Knit Along for Into the Wool, since I'm going to be at Into the Wool retreat, and I want to try to get some points for my team, Team Tunis. I don't think we have people who are... We're not cranking out the FOs at this point. And the 2 things I want to knit for it are not things that I'm going to get done in a snap, but who knows, maybe I'll do something unusual like knit a hat. I never knit hats, but we'll see. I know those are faster than knitting socks and shawls, which is what I really want to knit. This smells so good. I think I'm starting to get more of a taste. I did need to steep a little bit. Oh, and also, I've been dyeing lately. I wanted to show you guys some stuff. I don't think any of these are new colorways, but I wanted to show you you guys some stuff that I put up in the shop. This is Wood Nymph. That's showing up pretty good. It's mostly green with some patches of gold and brown and orange. It's called Wood Nymph. And that's on the Vom Fury base. And then I have this one on the Vom Fury base too. This is Graveyard. Y'all have seen that before. Different shades of gray with a little bit of black thrown in there. And then I brought back the Werewolf base. And the put up is not the same. I don't know what happened. It still says it's 100 grams, but it says 350 yards. So I'm wondering if they're milling it differently maybe. I'm not really sure. But it's still 100% merino. It is not superwash, so don't think this is going in the washing machine. But I did some Cookie Monster. And I have 2 of these. Now I will warn you, I have already rinsed this with Synthropol and it's still running. And there's something about some colors, certain colors run more than others. This is very saturated with color, and the blue is really what's running. The black is running a little bit, but not quite as much. I may rinse it one more time, but I would say it's probably not so bad because this is not superwash, so it's not like you're going to throw this in the washing machine anyway, right? Don't do it! But when you hand wash it, I would don't hand wash it with anything that's white because there still may be some dye running out. But the color took to this yarn beautifully. I love it. So this one is not up yet, it's still drying, but the other 2 I just showed you are up in the shop, and I do have some other ones that I dyed. I just thought I would bring a few over because I haven't shown any of my yarn that was in the shop on the podcast in a while. I will be starting to do that more because we have 2 weeks left before school is over, so I will be hitting the dye pots a lot harder. As far as, we've also been having, last week? Yeah, last Wednesday was my husband's birthday, and we went out to dinner at Mangiano's. We love Mangiano's. And then we went to this cute place that's across the street, and it's connected to a hotel, and I think it's called the Watering Trough. And it's interesting because it has an inside, but the outside has these garage doors, so they put the doors up, so it's really like you're inside, but you can sit outside if you want. They have fire pits, which was really nice. We sat by a fire pit for a while, and then we went inside when it started getting cooler, and we sat in front of the fireplace until some couple came and sat in front of the fire. It was so frustrating because it was so nice. We were listening to, there was a musician playing, and he was playing, oldies like we liked, especially we enjoyed when he sang Squeeze and Hall & Oates and Andy Gibb. But we were sitting in front of the fire, and it was nice and warm and cozy, and then this other couple came and sat right in front of the fire. So it was time to go. I guess it was time to go anyway, but It was really nice. We had a really nice time. And then we also did a nice big long hike on Saturday morning. And my husband took me to a place where he and his friend go biking a lot, but I hadn't been there, and it's just beautiful. There's just streams, there's little waterfalls, there's beautiful trees. It looks great here right now because we've had a lot of rain, and that doesn't happen a lot. You know, a lot of times we're in a drought, but we've had so much rain, everything looks so green and gorgeous, and there were wildflowers, and the cactus, even the cactus flowers were blooming. Just wonderful. We had a really nice time. So his birthday, we had a nice time on his birthday and his birthday weekend, because you know, birthdays last a while. I did want to mention that we are doing the autism awareness knit along, and that is being run by Talia and Marlicia of Pinhook and Needles, and their daughter has autism. And they do this every year, and so they asked me to join again this year, so I am part of that. If you knit anything with bright colors, you can put it in the finished object thread for a chance to win. This month, I am going to be giving away a copy of Molly Makes. This is the 35 quick and easy ways to update your home. Oh, it's totally there. And along with that, I'm going to give away this little embroidery kit because I don't really embroider, so I know it would just sit around, but I'm sure one of you would really enjoy it. This little kit came with it, and I will enclose the instructions in this. And then I also have something that I am going to be giving away for the chatter thread at the end of the month. So chatter away too. So this will be a prize for this month, as well as I have a chatter thread prize that I will show you when we get there. If you enter the Autism Awareness Knit Along using one of Talia's patterns, Franciscan Gypsy Designs, or one of Crocheting Hoovian's patterns, she has 2, I believe, or you use some of my yarn, you can be entered to win a beautiful skein of yarn by Mustache. And I believe, I should ask her, I don't know for sure. I think it's an exclusive colorway. It may not be. She may decide to put it in her lineup. I don't know. But it's basically a blue bonnet self-striping variegated colorway. And I wanted to mention that in order to win, you not only have to knit with the yarn, with my yarn, or knit one of the crochet or knit one of the patterns by those other 2 ladies, but you have to tag it in your project page. So, for example, if you use my yarn and you want to be entered into to win the Mustache Yarn prize, you need to make sure that you tag Undead Yarn in your project page. Or if you crochet one of Franciscan Gypsy or Crocheting Hoovian's patterns, you need to tag the pattern. And the reason I'm asking y'all to do that is because that helps those things show up on Ravelry when people either look at our patterns or they look for our yarn. People like to look and see what things look like before they buy sometimes, so it really helps us if y'all tag them so that you can see what's been done with my yarn or what's been done with their pattern and how they turned out. So if you want to be eligible to win that skein of Mustache, you need to make sure that you tag your picture with either my yarn or the pattern. You need to link them in your pattern page. Oh, and I did want to go over briefly, I did read the article that was talking about how to, what they're thinking about how to identify youngsters before the age of 3, and I don't have the article with me in front of me. I wish I did, but basically it's looking at the milestones that we expect children to reach by age 3 or before age 3, and you start looking to see if children are not reaching those milestones correctly, and most of them have to do with social interaction, like making eye contact or responding to an adult or responding to another child. Are they babbling? Those kind of things. You look at the milestones and see, have they met these milestones? If there's a big number of milestones they haven't met, that might be an early warning sign that the child has autism. And I will try to put some more specifics or talk a little bit more about it next time. But I did want to mention that I read that article. So if you have any questions, you can message me on the message boards or on Ravelry. And I also wanted to mention that we are slowly creeping up to 1,000. I think we're about 960 people in the group right now. There is a 1,000-member giveaway thread. It's a skein of, once again, mustache yarns. It's a skein of her, not the wall, her that Pink Floyd referenced yarn. Well, you can look in the thread and see what it is. And there's also a project bag that's available, as well as some Shibui Knits luxury yarn with a pattern. So go and look into that thread. And if you've been watching and lurking and you haven't joined the group, come join the group and go enter to win the prize. I'd love to have you. I'm so happy that I have so many people in my group right now. It makes me feel very good that there's a lot of people out there watching and listening. I have a lot of enabling, and I don't think I'm going to go through all of it because it's a bit much. I tend to do this when school years, when I get stressed, I guess maybe I buy yarn. Anyway, I've been wanting this colorway. Ooh, it tastes good now. Yeah, now I can taste it. I've been wanting this colorway for a long time by Fiber Nymph Dye Works. It's called Serial Killer. And it's not cereal as in serial killer. It's cereal like the food cereal, which I think is really cute and clever. And the colors, I love them because they're not your typical primary colors that we see a lot of. It's like they're secondary or tertiary colors. It's beautiful. Let me see. I think it says, does it say how many stripes? I always forget how many stripes there are in this. There's several. I think it's like 6 or 7 maybe. And this is on her Traveler base. And yay, it's sport weight yarn. So guess what? That's going to be another quick knit when I get around to them. Great. I love that. And then I saw somebody had a project on Ravelry, and I can't remember what it was right now. If it was fingerless gloves or it was something simple. But this color just... It's not my normal colors, but I just thought it was just lovely. And I don't even know if that's showing up correctly. This is Madeline Tosh, and it's grays and browns, but they're very subtle differences. It's really pretty. This is called Court and Spark, and it's Madeline Tosh. But I was really drawn to the project. I love the way the yarn knit up, so I got myself a skein. I don't know if I would knit fingerless mitts or gloves with this though, because personally, just because I like to have bright accessories. My coat's dark. I usually have navy blue or black or brown for my coat, so I like to have a bright accessory to go along with it. But this color is just luscious. And this one is on Tosh Sock, and it's 395 yards. 100% merino wool. It's funny, I don't know why people call their yarn sock yarn when there's no nylon in it. I'll admit, I've knit some socks that with just 100% merino, but I really don't think they stand up as long as something that has a nylon. So to me, it's not really a sock yarn. To me, this is like a shawl yarn or mitts or something like that. But it's called Tosh Sock. And, oh, here's another one. This one I bought because this person is one of the other vendors that's going to be at Into the Wool, which is September 1st through the 4th, I believe. And it's at Crossville, Tennessee, and it's going to be at a campground. But I looked it up, and it's really cute. The area looks fun. This is by Rock and String Creations. And this is another self-striping. And you know, guys, if I see, and this is autumn colors, look at that. It's called Appalachian Autumn. And you know, if I see something with a lot of stripes, not a lot, like personally, I don't really want a yarn that has 20 stripes or 30 stripes or something like that, because I don't make really long socks. I make shorter socks. So 6 or 7, that's about as many stripes as I really want. But these are my colors. This autumn. I love autumn colors. They're my favorite. So this is beautiful. This is called Appalachian Mountain, and it's self-striping, and it's on her Jitterbug fingering, which is 80/20 nylon, 400 yards. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be socks unless I change my mind and decide to make a shawl. We'll see. Probably socks. Usually if I buy self-striping yarn in fingering weight, usually they're socks. Could probably be a fun hat, but you guys know I don't really knit hats. Is that all I have? I have more enabling, but the other thing, oh, I don't think I showed this. I don't remember if I showed this on the podcast. This was very generous. My friend from Cajun Girl Knits sent me some stitch markers, and she sent me some of her yarn to try. And this is in the crawfish boil colorway, and y'all, I just love that. Look, those are so me. That's so me. It's unfortunately going to go on my feet, but those colors are so me. I love them. But I can't get to this right away because I also, like I said, I need to start on some shop samples. And I've got a ton of socks on the needles already. I've got to get some of those socks off the needles so I can cast these on, because I really want to try that. I love the colors. Those are totally my colors. You know I love yellow and orange. Beautiful. The other enabling I have, I'm not going to show you guys because they're in plastic bags and it'd be a lot of crinkling to open them up. But I did buy a few other things, and I'll show those next time. Let's see, how are we doing on time? Okay, good, 27 minutes. That's not too bad. I can do a little bit longer. I want to talk about what I've been reading, and I'm reading Count of Monte Cristo with Craftlit, and it's great. I love it. It's gotten to a really exciting part in the book, and I'm glad, because for a while I thought the whole thing he was going to be stuck in prison, but he's not. And I'm not going to say any more because I don't want to give spoiler alerts. But that is by Alexandre Dumas, and I'm very much enjoying that. I feel like I'm in English class again. I love that. And the other book I'm reading is called Devil in the White City, and that's by Erik Larson, and I am enjoying that. This is for a read-along with the Milkshed blog. She has a Milkshed podcast, and I'm actually listening to it in the car, and there are parts of it that really draw me in. You know, I like horror and like kind of dark stuff, and I'm enjoying all the parts where they talk about H.H. Holmes. He was one of the first serial killers in America. It's creepy. But those parts, when that part comes on, I'm really attentive. But then when they start talking about the architecture and the land and all the dealings with all the architects planning for the World's Fair in Chicago, it's harder for me to pay attention because I don't find it as interesting. But I will tell you, the thing that's interesting to me is it's like a lot of city projects. It is a hot mess. Those people are not organized. Like, everybody wants to disagree. It's taking them forever to get things going. And it's kind of like everybody's in panic mode now because it's getting close and things aren't done and the land is not completely appropriate for building on. So they have to do a lot of things to compensate for that. It's interesting, but it's not as interesting to me as the part about about H.H. Holmes. And I've actually gone on Netflix, and there's a Netflix biography about him. So I don't think it's probably not by Netflix, but I found it. It's H.H. Holmes, the First Serial Killer in America is what it's called, and I'm planning to watch that because I'm fascinated. This guy is just, he's brilliant and crazy, and he gets away with everything. It's insane. People have no clue because he's so charming. It's very, very creepy. But I would recommend that book. It's good. I'm enjoying it a lot. And what I've been watching, I finished watching Lost Girls, and I'm so sad it's done. I really, really, really liked all the characters in that. It's over. I'll probably go back at some point and watch the whole thing all over again, because I just love the characters. It was so unique. Totally unique series. I've never seen one about fairies, and definitely not one about a succubus. Oh, and I think I told you guys I found Shadowhunters on Freeform. If you have Apple TV, you can find Freeform, and there are certain series they'll let you watch for free. And so I've seen all of season 1 for Shadowhunters, and I'm waiting for season 2. I really enjoyed it because it's not exactly the same. It's very different from the books, but it's the same characters. So it's a lot of fun. You don't know what's going to happen next because it's not exactly the same as the books. So I would really recommend that if you enjoy Cassandra Clare's series about the mortal instruments. It's really good. And I'm continuing to watch X-Files. That's kind of fun because it's all kitschy at the beginning. The last episode I saw was actually a good one. Most of them are kind of kitschy, and like the acting is not that great. Usually Mulder and Scully are good, but a lot of the extras, just their acting is horrible. But later on, I know, because I got really into X-Files when it got popular on TV. So I already know later on things will be better and they'll have better actors in it. But it's kind of fun to watch. And it's going to take me forever because I'm still on season 1. But it's fun. It's fun to watch. And we're still watching Prison Break. I think we're still on season 1. And our friend who recommended it to us told us he didn't really like it past season 1 because he said it got kind of out there, like it didn't make sense. He likened it to Lost, how Lost got really tricky and you were wondering, is this believable? I don't know. So I'm interested to see where that goes. The actors in that are excellent. Where we are right now, they have not gotten out of the prison, and I'm kind of wondering how long they're going to drag this out. So, we'll see, but my husband and I are still enjoying watching that. And we also started watching this thing I found on Amazon. It's called Death Row, and it's the history of Death Row. There's two seasons on there, and if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it for free. And we're still in the first episode because I think they're each an hour long, but the first episode is all about how Death Row came to be. It goes back on the history of how they had hangings and how they used to use the guillotine and how it was a public spectacle, and they wanted to figure out a way for it not to be a public spectacle anymore. So it's really interesting. Looking forward to that. And I did see, I forget the name of it right now, Civil War, the one with Captain America and all the other superheroes. And I think my husband enjoyed it more than I did. I liked it, but I think the Avengers was better. I really liked the Avengers. I guess my favorite one and favorite person in this one was Iron Man. But I really liked the Avengers because they also had Thor and other characters in it that I like. And I guess the last thing I wanted to mention is we just watched The Witch. I think that was excellent. I really, really liked the movie. The acting was good. It was very well researched. They said a lot of the dialogue, I was listening to a podcast about it, and they said a lot of the dialogue came from actual books that were written during the time period of when The Witch was set. If you are squeamish, don't watch this movie. And I will tell you, it does not have a happy ending. Don't watch it if you don't like movies that don't have a happy ending. But Ooh, if you like a good scary movie, this is it. They got a lot of creepy characters. There's some creepy animals in there. I'm just saying. I enjoyed it. Because I like my creepy stuff, as you can tell. With my Living Dead dolls up here. And then this one, I don't know if you can tell. These are supposed to be Raggedy Ann, Goth Raggedy Ann and Andy. And Andy's called Tragedy. Or no, she's called Tragedy Ann and he's called Misery. I love them. And then a lot of the bottles of wine up there, one of them is evil, and it's spelled like backwards, and one of them is carnivore, that's a good wine. And then another one is vampire, and I like to keep those because I think they're fun. Anyway, I think this is good. It's about 35 minutes now. Go check out the knit along, and I will see you guys in a few weeks. So get busy knitting or get busy dying.